Is Dave going to be able to practice today?
It's who?
Is Dave going to be
No,
able to?
Dave won't be out there today.
So this will be his third straight day. I know you said it wasn't a setback last week, but is this delaying his return, or is there something?
No, it's day to day. It's part of the process. He's coming off a major injury, and like I said, we're trying to put him in the best possible position for when he does return. That he's good to go.
And is there a chance that he wouldn't play at all this year, or do you think he will play?
Well, I mean, shoot, that's a long time from now. So I sure as heck hope he's able to go at some point. And like I said, day to day.
So he practiced every day from coming off PUP. So what happened? I mean, I realize it's day to day, but
I'm not going to get into it, guys. You can ask a million different ways. I'm just going to tell you the same thing over and over. It's day to day. It's part of the process. He's coming off a major injury. He's doing everything in his power to get back as quickly as possible, and that's just where we are right now.
You mentioned, the timing just seems a little odd. You just practiced so disjointed over the last couple of weeks, and now, Aaron didn't go yesterday, and I don't know what his status is going to be today. I mean, do you feel like that can come back in just a couple more days before Sunday?
You're talking about Aaron?
Just the whole offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just part of what most teams deal with around this league. It's just ideally you'd have everybody out there, and you got to, all 11 that are going to be playing in the game, but that's just not the reality of our league. And I've been on multiple teams that this has happened to. Unfortunately, it's really the first time I think in my tenure here and that we've had to deal with this, and you just got to make the best of it, and guys got to be ready to step up and step in. It is good experience for those guys that don't get the majority of those reps throughout the course of a season or during practices to gain valuable experience. And but ultimately, we got to try to do what's best to get to the guys to Sunday, and so that's just where we're at.
Matt, with some of the injuries you guys have had on the front, what has it meant to have Kenny and Dean, for the 10 games this year and just what they've been able to contribute?
Yeah, they've done a great job. Certainly a high level of production from both of those guys, and just very, very consistent. They've been playing together for a while now, and I think they're doing a great job. As the season's progressed, I feel like they've gotten better and better.
What do you like best about what you've seen from Patrick Taylor?
There's a lot to like about Patrick, and this stems way back from when we first acquired him. Just his focus in meetings. He's a very detailed guy. If you were to look at his notebook, you'd think he was a quarterback. It's just how meticulous he is, and he's got a great understanding of not only his position, but other positions as well. So I think he's a guy that loves football, loves to compete. I thought in the limited exposure that we have seen of him, and then, looking at the runs last week, I thought he did a really nice job of making some pretty good cuts. I think he's got some value in the passing game as well, not only as a blocker, because that's a very important part of it, but also out of the backfield or lined up out wide.
How much is Daniil Hunter going out for the rest of the year for their defensive rush?
Well, I know I think he's got 6 sacks or had 6 sacks up to this when he went out. Certainly, it's hard to replace a guy of that caliber. He is. I always call him Xerxes. He's just long, and he's a freak show in the nicest way possible, in a very complimentary way. He is a tough guy to deal with. But I will say this, they still do a great job of presenting multiple looks. They do a great job of playing off one another, just whoever else is out there. And I think Zimmer does as good as anybody of just scheming up your protections and just putting a lot of stress on you in that way, giving you the same look but doing multiple things out of it. So it's going to be a great challenge no matter who's out there for the Vikings.
And however complicated these things get, that's what you guys know as coaches. whoever he's got out there, they seem to be well coached, right? The teaching is there. They seem to get it down to a simple thing where the players can execute, right? And that's part of the challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's done as good of a job as anybody consistently over time. You just look every year; they just are very, very. It's a difficult matchup. They do a great job of keeping the ball in front of them, and then just like they're doing this year, they're getting a ton of pressure on the quarterback. I think Everson Griffin looks like he looks like a very young version of himself. So they got multiple people that can play at a high level, and they put them in a great spot.
I'm sorry about that, Matt. We haven't seen Tipa in about 2.5 months. What have you seen from his progression?
Yeah, I think Tipa is a guy that really is shown a lot in practice. First of all, he gives great energy and effort, and certainly most of it is on the scout team. But I'm excited for his opportunity. He's going to be a guy that I know it's not too big for him. He's going to give great effort, and I think Mike Smith's done a heck of a job with him, and he's developed. So I can't wait for his opportunity to show what he can do on Sunday.
Matt, I don't know if you guys keep track of this at all, but do you think you've run fewer competitive plays in practice this year than maybe you have all year, just because of situations, Thursday games, Aaron being hurt, various reasons for resting?
Yeah, no, that's something we're always kind of conscious, just in terms of the volume that we give our guys. I think definitely this year we probably started, especially with the Wednesday practices, more of the mental practices earlier in the year than we have in years past. And I think a lot of it, though, is a byproduct of where we are injury-wise. We've had a lot of injuries, and like I said, you need your guys to feel fresh and fast on Sunday. And as long as we can accomplish what we need to in those practices, in those walkthrough type settings, then we'll continue to do those.
AJ Dillon got the bye week was.
Can you say that again, Tom? Sorry.
You knew when your bye week was that it was so late.
Yeah.
Did that go into prior to the season? In the off season, did you think about that at all?
No, I think you're always well aware of where you potentially could have some breaks, and certainly our Thursday game was somewhat later as well. So I think you're always mindful of that, but also you always got to take a pulse of where you are in the moment and be ready to adjust. And I think that's what we've done. We have great communication with Flea, our athletic trainer, and Chris Gizzi, and we just kind of try to listen to our players.
Matt, AJ got the key to Door County earlier this week. What's your thought on that?
We were giving him a hard time about that yesterday. I was like, man, I haven't even been to Door County yet, let alone get a key for it. So, I was calling him the mayor. So, no, that was pretty funny.
All right, let's go to Zoom. Sarah, go ahead.
Yep, we have a couple. Go ahead, Aaron Nagler.
Coach, going back and watching the game, as I want to do, Tony Romo said a couple times, just matter of factly, the screen game is an extension of the running game. And I was wondering, do you share that sentiment, or is it just more about getting the ball to your ball carriers?
No, I absolutely believe that. Certainly, if the defense is going to drop deep like we saw last week, then absolutely, then you can definitely view it as such. It's a great way to get your playmakers the ball, the backs that we have, and then get linemen out there and the wideouts and tight ends out there blocking for them.
Chris Thomason.
Yeah, hey Coach, wondering what you remember about the last time you faced the Vikings, the game at Lambeau last November. I mean, you guys came in 5-1, they came in 1-5, and does that kind of show that in this series it really doesn't matter what the records are? You kind of throw them out the window?
Yeah, I think absolutely. We know what a competitive team and an explosive team the Minnesota Vikings are. I think every week you can throw the records out. You see it each and every week. Teams that aren't on paper aren't supposed to beat another team, and it just doesn't always work that way. That's why you have to prepare, you have to put in the work, you got to be focused and detailed and bring your best effort every time you play a football game. We know it's going to be a great challenge, especially at their home with fans. I mean, last time I remember we were there in 2019 with fans. I mean, that place was rocking, so I would imagine it's going to be much the same.
And
What
last
do you
one.
remember about,
Oh, sorry, go
I
ahead, Chris.
just wanted to ask what you remembered about last year's game, you know, why they were able to upset you at Lambeau.
Yeah, I remember, first of all, it was a pretty windy day, so it wasn't the easiest to throw the football. I think in the first half, both teams had 2 possessions, I believe, 2 very long sustained drives on both sides of the ball, and then in the second half, they did a great job of continuing the dominance, scoring 2 more drives and going up 28-14, and putting us in some bad spots. I know we had a couple penalties that kind of got us behind the sticks offensively. So, I would imagine that this is going to be a very tight game. And like I said, we're going to have to play our best in order to win on the road.
And last one, Greg Maxick.
Hey man, Jim yesterday was kind of a walkthrough speed. What can you do in practice the rest of the week to determine the integrity of Rashawn's elbow and if he might be able to play on Sunday?
Yeah, so today will not be that. We're gonna practice. The first portion of practice will be with pads, and then we'll take them off. So hopefully we'll get a good indication just throughout not only today but also tomorrow to see where he's at.